time for Common Man. Common man, charge the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello.
You've got to be kidding me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You know, I didn't like the way we were playing this act, so I just told him, hey, we're going to live and die with me. Y'all, don't nobody like it, sit your ass down right here. Don't come out here, but we coming through me. You know, that's why I like Sam to come in. You know, I let them do their things for 3 quarters, come 4th quarter, bring it to the ticket.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing what a sophisticated offensive game plan looks like. You talk about...
I'm going to make him an offer, Ken.
Good riddance.
That sounds like a heck of a radio show. I might want to listen.
He's dead. Well, he's dead. It was a nice run.
Sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
Is wearing women's underwear part of your journey?
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
Very funny. Very funny.
Quack, quack.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Well, maybe not a hat. Maybe my red nose, my floppy shoes, and my curly red hair. The Grum begins in 5, actually 3, 2, 1. Greetings, good afternoon, ack, and dak, ack to yours. Wow, what a weekend. So much has transpired. There's so many things to talk about today. For instance, we might be needing to plan not one parade route in this town, but maybe 2. The first domino on the Twins injury list has fallen already over this past weekend, though they do have their starting rotation all set. Minnesota Wild continue to try to hang on and get to postseason play. We still are searching for a new basketball coach for the University of Minnesota men's basketball team. March Madness is upon us, and a very anticlimactic end to the 51st players. With all of those topics to get to, I don't know where to begin. Why don't we spin the wheel of topics? I'd like to talk Rory and Spongy myself.
Commons golf game.
Well, I played Saturday. I did.
What'd you shoot today?
79.
Where'd we play?
Oak Marsh.
Where'd you hit it on? 1?
Right up the gut.
Second shot?
Hit a weak hybrid.
The 5-iron might as well be a pitch.
Yeah, and 5-iron wouldn't have been much better. I started...
How far from the green were you?
I had a long ways of par 5.
Then what?
I went double bogey. 79 at Oak Marsh is 9 over, okay, because it's par 70. I went double bogey, bogey.
Where's the name of the place?
Oak Marsh. I couldn't start over because we're walking. It was like a sponge out there. There was so much rain overnight. Said, by the way, baby brother Peter's not built different. I kept texting him. He was out with his buddy Ben. Bleach, we call him. And I kept telling Pete, you sure you want to play tomorrow? You're staying out late. You're only going to get 4 or 5 hours sleep. It's going to be wet. Could rain. No, I'll play. I get him up. All I have to do when I get him up is I'll shake his shoulder, and all of a sudden he'll open his eyes, asleep, and I'll go, golf. And then he gets excited, right? So he jumps out of bed, comes up from his shower, and goes, would you be, disappointed if I didn't go out and play today?
You've got to be kidding me.
No, but...
Did you consider putting him up for adoption at that very moment?
At least making him go back to sleep outside in the garage, just to teach him a lesson. And I looked at him and I said, what if today's the day you're supposed to shoot 65? Because you don't know.
Yeah.
What if Saturday was the day he was supposed to shoot 65 and now he'll never shoot 65? He stays in, I go, it's walking only. So I'm not going to start over. I'm not going to trudge back after a double, so I stick with it. Well, then I make par, and then I rattle off more bogeys. I bogey 6, I bogey 7, bogey 8. Played 9 through 18 in 1 over. And that was a double on 18. And I hit the ball. That's a dangerous par 4. You got a hazard right in front of you, force carry, not a long one, but force carry. Then you've got water left, bunker, huge bunker, fairway bunker that splits the 2 fairways. I played to the safe side. I played over to the right, hit a great drive, but it's, again, the ball just stops because it's so wet. Just there's no rollout at all. So I don't even check the distance. I know it's everything in my bag, and I take my hybrid, my 17 degree, and I put my only really bad swing on the backside on it. Kind of hit a pull, pop up, and it popped into the hazard left by the green. Don't took my drop, made double, but so that's 43-36. I shanked the shot. I mean, it's amazing. Saturday was the day I should have shot 65. I probably should have shot a low 70 or mid 70, but I didn't, but that's okay too. It's just good to be back out playing again. So, Tennessee, you and I will be out playing soon, I'm sure, and I look forward to that as well. This Vikings club, there ain't no stopping us now. I mean, if we thought maybe after they loaded up on the middle of the two lines in the trenches with a couple of defensive tackles and then a center and a guard, if we thought they were done, not at all, Tennessee. They got the, is it Jordan Mason?
Yes.
Running back from San Francisco, who I've had my eye on him for some time now. I really have. No, I saw him.
I always love that one.
Where did he play college?
I don't even know.
Look it up real quick and I'll say it. But I'll pull a rose and pretend I was watching him when he was back at college. You know, like he did with
Georgia Tech.
I remember watching him at Georgia Tech, and I said, this guy would be a nice fit for the Vikings in the backfield. He really will. And he is a nice player, Tennessee. He had, I think, 3 100-yard games last year when McCaffrey was out, so he can run the ball a little bit. He seems to be durable. And we need it. I mean, you know, Jones is going into I think Jones is 30 this year. And despite the fact Jones was that Aaron Jones' most productive year as a pro?
Amazingly, it was.
It was his most
statistically.
Yeah, statistically, it was his most. And you know, he said a couple of times now since the season ended, I want to end my career, and I think I can play 8 more years. Well, let's not get carried away, but you know, if we can get 8 more months out of him, that'd be great. Starting in August, right? So, and then you sent me the tweet, a picture of the tweet, a link to it or whatever. Won't you, Jeff Okuda? Dun, 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 dun. We need to do that if we sign, and we'll do that to the tune of Barracuda. Won't you, Jeff Okuda? Jeff Okuda was a 3rd overall pick by the Motor City Kitties. I bet it's 4 or 5 years now. Isn't it just 3? It's 3 or 4, I believe. And he came, I think he was I had my eye on him for a long time. I think Crimson Tide, but I could be wrong. Maybe he didn't play for Alabama. But he was, you know.
He's played 5 years.
5 years.
2020 he was drafted.
Okay. Was it Alabama?
Ohio State.
The Ohio State University. I knew the uniform was red. And as a Motor City Kitty fan, I was so excited, right? And he showed signs, but he's certainly not lived up to what a third pick overall.
Number 3 overall pick. Yeah, you're thinking future Hall of Famer.
Well, that's it. You're thinking, maybe a Dion knockoff. Maybe not Dion, but sort of like when back in the olden days when Clubmaker made me. That was the days of all the rage of the Big Bertha, and a local guy was making knockoff clubs. He called them Large Marge. So brilliant. Jeff Okuda was the Large Marge to Big. He was the Large Marge to Big Bertha. He was, he going to be a Sanders knockoff. He disappointed Lions. I don't know where he went after that. Was it Philly? I don't know where he went. It doesn't really matter.
I know he was in Houston.
It was Houston.
Atlanta, I believe.
Atlanta. So he left. And, look, it could be a Sam Darnold type of story for Jeff Okuda. Maybe he didn't get coached up right. Maybe he's in the wrong system. Maybe it was too. When you're third overall, you get a little cocky too, right? I think he may have had a little cockiness to him. And so sometimes you get humbled a little bit. And when you're in your 5th year and you're on yours, is it his 3rd team now?
This would be his 4th team.
4th team if he signed with the Vikings. And again, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but it's something. Look, I know you're thinking it's Paul Allen covering for Common here until he's going to be late. I know I sound like a ducky and a bunny here, and I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. That's what you're hoping if you're the Vikings and if you're a Vikings fan, that there was a reason why he was the 3rd pick overall back in 2020 because he was a great cover guy, right? Good tackler, could do it all, and so if the Vikings were able to scoop him up and get him to even get close to what he was in college, it'd be a great.
Potentially great.
Yeah, potentially great.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If they could get him to do that, it wouldn't be potentially. It would be great if they could get him to get to that.
4th team in 5-6 years is still a little concerning, especially for a guy that was the 3 overall, correct. Right? Like they usually don't give up on those guys quickly.
Correct. They gave up on Sammy Darnold at a couple of places. 3 places they gave up on. San Francisco, they didn't even give him a chance. It was like you just ride the pine there. So I guess I'm more excited about the Jeff Okuda visit than, and you're probably right. He'd probably end up being, A, we probably won't sign him, and B, if we do, we might just be the Jeff Okuda that's not a Barracuda. But nonetheless, the Vikings continue to scour the free agency wire, and we'll do the same as well. Plenty to get to. As a matter of fact, I've got more Vikings news on the other side of the break. It's controversial, and what we'll call it is a peek at the purple. We'll do that next here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
Join the Minnesota Wild for Mental Health Awareness Night on March 19th. Get your special ticket pack for an unforgettable game against Seattle, a pregame event with speaker Mark Wick, and support a great cause. A portion of each ticket sold goes to the Ranch Teammates for Life nonprofit. Don't miss out. Make a difference and cheer on the Wild. Full details available at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
We are broadcasting live from the 651 Carpets Plus Studios, the climate-controlled 651 Carpets Plus Studios. I just knocked her down to about 69 degrees. That's what I'd like to shoot the next time I play golf, so I brought her down to 69. You can contact us at the Holla Hotline, the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, 64686. Emails at booth@kfan.com, 1-800-320-5326 is our phone number. We probably won't answer until it's time for our giveaway today. We got another pair of tickets to give away too. It's not Flop, Sweat, and Tears anymore, Tennessee. It's the MAGA Tour. Make America guffaw again. Make America guffaw again. Or should it be Make America giggle again? Which one do you like better?
I like giggle.
Make America giggle again. It will be Common Man, Meat Sauce, and Larry Mondello Guy at the very posh and Tony, one of my favorite venues, the Bogart's Entertainment Center in Apple Valley. The green room is just to the right of the stage. That's the only one thing is that anytime I have to leave to go to the bathroom, I have to walk. Sauce is up doing a set, and I have to leave and walk through. But then that adds for some nice ad-libbing between the two of us, so it's really pretty cool. We enjoy it very much so. So we'll give away a pair of tickets to that. If you'd like to buy some, just go to BogartsEntertainmentCenter.com. Our Peek at the Purple is brought to you by Affordable Electric. If you're a journeyman electrician looking for a great opportunity, Affordable Electric wants you. It's a full-time position, competitive wages. They offer health insurance, a simple plan with a 3% match from Affordable, a work truck bonuses, and the ability to earn commissions. Don't delay. Apply today. Visit their website at affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. Time for our, not only is this the Peek at the Purple, but it's also...
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Time now for another edition of Mayday in Green Bay. An inside esoteric analysis of the Aaron Rodgers crisis in Titletown, USA.
Well, it's not in Titletown anymore. It's not even in the Gotham City. We don't even know if it's in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, but rumors continue to persist that Aaron Rodgers is basically waiting for an invitation. He's waiting for an offer from the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, unless something has changed, Genevieve. That's the latest I saw. Is there anything new on that front?
No.
Okay.
I thought I saw one report over the weekend that doesn't think Rodgers is coming here. That they are... I forget who the report is from, so I apologize. I remember seeing it over the weekend. But, we are just now in rumor speculation season where it doesn't seem like anyone's really getting concrete reports. It's just...
Well, I want to keep the steam going just because it kills a segment every day, right? I mean, it's just like we just talk Aaron Rodgers. I love talking. If there's any quarterback I like talking about more than Aaron Rodgers, I don't think that quarterback exists.
I do know that free agent quarterback Jameis Winston is scheduled to visit the Giants tomorrow. So the Giants were considered a suitor for Aaron Rodgers. So maybe that's their backup plan, or if they can't get Russell Wilson, there's Joe Flacco still available as well. But Jameis Winston making the visit tomorrow.
I think it was esteemed columnist, Fish Wrap Factory West Side, Jim Suhan, wrote over the weekend he does not want Rodgers coming here. And I can understand that. I think we talked about this, Tim. I think if we did a program poll, 90% of Viking fans would not want him. You and I said, from a sports radio talk show host perspective, It's kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
There'd actually be nothing better. Just think of all the drama.
All the attention he brings.
All the attention to the Twin Cities of Minneapolis. I mean, think about if it was announced that he was on his way to the new Winter Park. I mean, ESPN, everybody would, the NFL Network, they would just descend upon the Twin Cities, right? I mean, we would be in the vortex of the National Football League. But
we would be, but then like the first mini camp, he wouldn't show up because he's got some sort of darkness retreat to head to. So now we're figuring out where is Aaron Rodgers right now? Why hasn't he showed up?
Yeah.
And then he doesn't form any chemistry with any of the receivers. And then come August, he complains about how he doesn't have any chemistry with the receivers. It's just great. It's nonstop. Aaron Rodgers would help us get to a big game. We finally could get one in this town. Do you like parades?
Suan's column, though, showed a picture. I think this was Jim's. If it was somebody else, and I apologize, but it was brilliant. It was a picture of Rodgers. And I like the way Suan said it, because he even said twice. Now, there's no way Aaron paid for somebody to take this picture, right? That he had a photographer set up. But have you seen the picture? It's him standing on the beach.
Yes.
With like a blanket around him.
That's been all over social.
Yeah, like it's a cape, right? Almost like, and then the look on his face, almost like, he's in deep thought. What do I do? Almost like
he's on the phone, isn't he?
Almost like he's searching for the meaning of life, right? And maybe he's on the phone. It's like he's searching for the meaning of life. He's Aaron Rodgers, deep in thought, talking to people. And I love it, actually. Why not? You may as well. Let's put it this way. Whether he plays again or not, he may as well milk it, because there ain't going to be many more years. Even if he plays this year, it ain't going to last forever, right? He's got more games behind him that he has in front of him. So if you're going to be, once he does officially retire, the attention meter won't be as much as it is now, right? And I don't know if he's the kind of guy that would want to go into the booth, right? Sort of like Tom Brady did. I don't know if Rodgers has that in him, and I don't know how he would do there. I mean, when Brady first had his first few games, I was like, I know, it's, again, if you've never done it before, I guess I'm not expecting a guy to just, be John Madden for crying out loud, and no one will be John Madden. No one will compare a defense to chairs. It'll just never happen. Brady won't do it. Nobody will. No one will ever be like John Madden. But as the season went on, Brady, I think, got better at it, and I enjoyed his work. He stopped, he started eschewing the cliches a little bit and started talking a little bit more strategy and a little bit more psychological part of football, what guys are thinking about. So I thought he did better. So maybe Aaron would head in that direction, but I don't know if that just, to me, it doesn't seem like something he'd want to do unless the attention is, he craves the attention so much. If you remember, didn't he fill in for Jeopardy host at one point? Now they got there
were rumors he was going to retire at one point to do Jeopardy full time.
Who is the Jeopardy guy now? Is
it Ken Jennings?
Yeah, Ken Jennings. That's exactly who it is. The guy that, was the greatest. He's the greatest.
He was the greatest contestant.
He's the greatest contestant Jeopardy's ever seen. He is to Jeopardy what Corey Cove is to Program Password. Is Cove the best? No, who do we think the best is?
I believe Corey Cove's the best at Program Password.
So he's the Corey Cove of Jeopardy, and so we'll see how it goes. Maybe Corey Cove could host Jeopardy Program Password someday, or Program Password, the real password someday. So we'll keep our eye on it.
I feel like he did one time, a long time ago.
Did he?
Yes. I'd have to look back. I felt like he did.
No, I meant do the real password.
Oh, the real password.
On television, yeah. Corey Cove, maybe he could move into that. So again, Tenneby, that you said you thought you saw something over the weekend, which was sort of downplaying, throwing a wet blanket.
PA keeps throwing a wet blanket on it.
And Rodgers,
I do know that.
Throwing a wet blanket on the Rodgers coming to Minnesota. And, if I'm a betting man, and I'm not, but if I was, I would bet that he's not coming here. Yeah, I do think I can see why the Vikings at least thought about it. It's kind of interesting because as we talked about last week, Tenneby, I know there's the culture and there's the locker room and there's this and that and the other thing and big ego. And then the coach feels almost like, well, I got to treat Rodgers almost as an equal, as far as play calling and how the offense is run. And, he's going to garner more attention than anybody else on the club, probably he would even attract more than Justin Jefferson because he's Aaron Rodgers. But the idea that, if you did sign him, and let's say he's bad first 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season, you move on with the rest of your life. So, but I don't think it's going to happen. And so a peek at the purple comes to an end. And this might be the last Mayday in Green Bay for a while because I don't think we might milk it again tomorrow, depending upon.
Oh, Mayday in Green Bay never goes away.
Well, that's true too. But at least temporarily. So we'll see how that goes. Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric. Affordable Electric is your old home specialist, and they're also looking for a journeyman electrician. If you'd like to apply, we'd just like to get a full house inspection. Go to affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. And remember, Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. March Madness and other topics at the side of the break. Common Man program on the Fan.
You know him from the Bad Boys franchise. Now see him live at Mystic Lake. Actor and comedian Martin Lawrence is bringing the Y'all Know What It Is tour to the Mystic Showroom on May 2nd and 3rd. Check out our contest page now to see how you could win your way into the May 2nd show. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter.
morning pastime common he's tend to be. Mark Rosen, the legendary one of Channel 4 Sports. Is your whole life just sports fame? He'll join us tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I want to just briefly talk about the Players. It was the 51st playing of the Players golf tournament. And I was telling somebody, a golfing friend of mine, that the Players really didn't do anything for me. It's not a fifth major. All the Florida golf courses are the same and they're boring. It's because I've never watched the Players before, other than those last 3 holes. And 17, you always see 17. Always see 17. By the way, who is the stroke by stroke guy for NBC? I can't remember his name. But he said this like 13, 14 different times over the weekend. When a player was leaving 16 green to go to 17 tee, he would say, they just can't help but look. Like if they're terrified of it, or as if it's
Dan Hicks,
as if they're terrified by the hole, and if it's like, I don't want to look at it, but it's almost like you don't want to look at a car crash. But are you familiar with the story of who's the dude in the Bible that they look back at they were told not to look back at Sodom and Gomorrah, and they did, and they turned into pillars of salt, and just boom, they were dead. If it's in the book. Was that Lot or was that Job? It was one of the two. I think Job had boils, but that's a whole other story in itself. But it was almost as like, don't look at it, you'll turn into a pillar of salt. No, they're looking at it because they want to see where the pin is placed. That's why they're looking. He's trying to make such an iconic and famous hole, and it's so terrifying that they don't want to look, but I got to take a peek. They're looking because they want to see, as they're walking by it, they can see where the pin is placed from a different angle than just being right on the tee. But he kept saying it over and just stop it already. But nonetheless, that is a spectacular golf. It is a chamber of horrors, particularly when the wind was blowing like it was over the weekend. Did you watch much of the tournaments at all?
Just a little bit towards the kind of a little bit of the back nine yesterday.
I was locked in start to finish because I'm a golf rube now. I used to never watch golf unless it was a major. I'm not suggesting either that the Players should be a major. We've got 4. That's enough. You don't need to add a 5th. I think the tournament speaks for itself, right? It went to 3-hole aggregate. There was a 4-hour delay yesterday because storms went through the TPC Sawgrass area. So he's JJ Spawn against Rory McIlroy, and Spawn had a chance. Spawn had a chance to win it. He was standing over birdie putt on 18. And I'm. Do you ever talk to the TV when you're watching like sporting events? I do all the time. I know they can't hear me, but I feel like I was there. Get the ball to the hole. None of these guys get the ball to the hole. Every guy is 6 inches short, 8 inches short, 3 inches short. Why don't you get the ball to the hole, especially when you have a chance to win? I know you don't want to hit it so hard you go 8 feet by, but the great Nick Faldo used to say, was one of my favorite sayings in golf, I'd rather go 6 feet past than 3 feet short, because I'll just ram it in from 6 feet past. And now when you've won 6 majors, 3 jackets and 3 clarets, it's easier to say that. But he just kept, that thing looked like it was dead center cut to win it.
Well, I was going to say, even with 10 feet to go, the pace looked good.
It looked
it looked like it was going to go right in and just stopped abruptly.
Yeah, just stopped on a dime.
Yeah.
It was almost like it was full flaps and it just stopped. So they go to the playoff. I don't know. I think Spawn was maybe beat when the putt didn't go in. Beat for the playoff. Because you had brought up a good point to me. They had talked over the weekend where not long ago he was saying, what did he say?
He thought his career was over.
Yes.
Because he was outside, whatever it is, the top 125 or whatever it is.
And now it's going to be top 100.
He told himself, hey, I had a great,
it's going to be top 100 now. Did you know that?
I did not.
It's going to be top 100. Yeah.
But basically, like, he was comfortable with, hey, I've had a good run. I've been on the tour for 8 years. I never would have imagined it. Right? He was just a guy who was happy just to be on the tour.
And then Kisner, who's in the booth now,
Yep.
He's doing okay. He's sort of in the Tom Brady stage of his. Oh, and you know what he said during the telecast too? When they went to somebody that was like +2 and they're hitting a shot, he goes, "I get the feeling this is going to go in." And then Hicks laughs. He goes, "You're starting to figure TV out, aren't you?" Because you know they're doing it, right? Anytime a guy is way out of it, he's +6, and they go, "This is 10 of B on 13," and he's about to hit a shot. You go,
"Here's Brett Blakemore on 15."
Right. Well, you know Brett Blakemore's going to knock it, or it's going to come so it's going to do something crazy like whirl around the cup or something like that. So Kisner finally figured that out, but he said he played with J.J. Spahn before, and he said Spahn was one of those guys that was really hard on himself. And he told him, he said, "Don't do that. You're a good player. Don't beat yourself up like that."
Even down the stretch, because I only watched like the back 9 yesterday, so I haven't watched all tournament, but just his body language as someone who's constantly like tormenting himself, and like he like seemed like he was, and he didn't golf like it, but he just had that. He gave you the body language like he was kind of scared of the moment.
Yeah,
like he didn't have confidence in himself.
Yeah,
he still played well, but
he did play well. Well, and then
he just gives out that vibe.
So today, 9 a.m., rules guy explains it to him. He says, "Roy, you were the first to post. You'll go first." What does he do? Just rips it right up the middle. Just bombs it. Then, so Spahn, like I say, he may have been beat after he missed that putt, knowing I'm facing the legendary Rory McIlroy. He hits his into the right
and can't outdrive him.
No, and he can't outdrive him. So he hits it into the right rough. But then he hits a really good approach, and he hits it into that front green side bunker on the right. And it's a great spot to be. It's these guys out of the sand are magicians, right? They'd rather be in the sand than they'd rather be in the rough, right? Ball sitting up, it's good lie, didn't plug. He's got everything going for him. Rory hits the green, so they're each lying 2. Roy's still got you got to figure Roy's probably not going to make the eagle putt. It's 30 feet or so, 35, whatever it was. So you just figure if Spahn can do what a guy like that's supposed to do, you throw it up there, you should be able to get it to 2, 3, 4 feet anyway. He hit just an awful bunker shot. It looked like me. It popped out. It got out, but it was still 30 feet away. And Rory picked up 1 on him. Then Rory hits 9 iron, pin high on 17. Spahn hit 8 iron. And he flew. He was stunned. He was at where'd it go? He thought it was in the bunker. It flew the green. It splashed in the water. Right? He rinsed it right away. And the speculation was, golfers do this all the time. They'll when another guy pulls a club out of his bag, they'll kind of inch over and say, "I wonder what club he's using." And they said Spahn did that. They wanted to see what Rory was hitting. He was hitting 9. He's about a club longer. So they thought maybe Spahn thought, well, I got to hit 8. When they asked Spahn afterward, he said, "No, in warm-ups, we faced that direction. I had TrackMan, and my 8 iron was going 128 on the fly." So they thought they had the right club. I think maybe it was adrenaline. Then he hit it in the water. It was over at that point. And so...
because I even saw some post-round comments from him where he's basically, I hit it exactly like I wanted to hit it.
Yes.
Right? And maybe you don't judge for adrenaline, or he made a comment over, maybe I didn't get the gust of wind that I was supposed to get, that kind of thing.
It was so well struck. And and had it been the right distance, had he hit 9 iron, the way it was curving, it probably would have been inside of Rory. But
he said it was 6-7 feet, left of the pin.
It was perfect, but it wasn't.
Wrong club.
So it was the wrong club. So
that's why golf is hard.
Yeah,
you can hit the thing exactly the way you want to hit it and still miss-hit it.
I like watching all the good young players, but I will admit I do miss. I mean, I'm not trying to asterisk any of Rory's victories or Scheffler's, because we still have a lot of great players on the PGA. We have Scheffler, Schauffele, Rory. There's probably
Morikawa.
Morikawa. It's like, I think now that, because he doubled down. Did we talk about that? He doubled down on his, I don't know anything. But yeah, I guess you could put Morikawa in there. But I do, when Johnny Rahm and Brooks Koepka aren't playing, those are 2 guys that, especially Rahm. I mean, Rahm is so
even
good.
DeChambeau.
And DeChambeau as well. Phil, on his days, he can, but he's really not a factor anymore. Then there's a handful of other guys on LIV that are really good too. So, but yeah, it was high drama. Now we just get ready for Augusta National Golf Club in Augusta, Georgia. I saw the news yesterday, Tennessee. I'm getting chided by people. Yeah, you were predicting the Twins to win the division. What were you thinking about? I didn't say. I was having fun with Rosen. When I just predict him to go to the World Series, I'm just trying to get Rosie going to see where he'll go with it. I think the Twins I think it's a 4-team race. I do. I think it's the Guardians, the Royals, the Tigers, and the Twins. I don't think any team is that much better than any of the others, right? But what we had all when trying to procrastinate what teams are going to do, you have to always do the but and what ifs, right? And the issue with the Twins, it just seems to be with their three best everyday players, Royce Lewis, Byron Buxton, and Carlos Correa, can they play more than 60, 70, 80 games in a season? I know Buxton played 102 last year, and I don't think he deserves a medal for that. It's more than he'd played in a long time. Lewis has been injury riddled. He was a phenom. He was, I think, not only rated as the best Twins prospect, but for some time he was rated as the best prospect in all of baseball, and you can see why. He had that stretch when he first came up. I think it was when he first came up. Did he have 5 grand slams and 4 at-bats? That's impossible to do, to hit 5 grand slams and 4 at-bats. Tearing the cover off the ball. Hitting with power, hitting for average. He was doing the things he was supposed to do that made him good. He had a terrible slump. And he had the quote last year. He says, "No, there's no such thing as a slump. I don't look at it as a slump." Well, it was a slump. And I get that's the psychological part of the game. You're trying to convince yourself it's not a slump. And then Correa's had the plantar fasciitis. He's got the steel rod in his ankle. A lot of people think that was part of the reason why both the Giants and the Mets passed on signing Correa. And then he came back to the Twins. But this was the fear you had. Lewis out. Looks like, was it a ham? He tended to be grabbing the back of his...
Strained hamstring, yeah.
Yeah, strained hamstring.
But technically he's getting an MRI today,
right.
So may have more info.
Yeah, and so maybe we'll have more, and maybe it'll be minor. But those hammies, as you know, tend to be
reoccurring.
Yes, exactly. They do. It's one of those things they're hard to shake, and if you wasn't it 2 years ago on his first at bat? Didn't he? What was it, the first game of the season? I think he was injured. The same thing happened. Who was the guy that played for the Yankees all those years when we signed him? Remember was it Josh Donaldson? Was that the guy's name?
Yes.
Is that the right name? Didn't he get injured in his very first at bat with the Twins?
First or second at bat, yeah.
He tried to stretch a single into a double, and he pulled up lame, and he was out for a goodly portion of the beginning of the season, I think. But this is the fear you have with the Twins, Lewis. So now you take one of your best bats, game-changing bat, right? Guy with one swing can win you ball games. I don't know what his whips and his wars are, but I'm sure they're pretty good. And and I get it. Anybody can get injured at any time, but some guys just seem more injury-prone than others. And so far in his career, that's what he's been.
Well, it's the way he's getting injured too, right? Is this his third injury in a row that he's just gotten hurt running bases?
I think it is.
Right, which is like the most basic of athletic things you can do, right? It's not like when Buxton was diving for balls in the outfield and banging up his shoulder against the wall or on the ground, or you're running the bases and you trip over someone, or you get spiked by someone, or you get hit by a pitch. Like, this is just 3 times now where you're just strictly just running.
Yeah.
And you got hurt. And, I'm not going to act like I'm a doctor who has all the knowledge of how...
You look like one. If I saw you just walking down the street and they said, what is that man's occupation? I would say you look like a doctor to me.
Royce is a guy that's had multiple torn ACLs already in his career. I don't know what kind of impact that has on all of the other muscle stuff in your lower body. If it doesn't, then it's just... To me, if you're getting hurt just running 3 times in a row, like, you're either overtraining or not training enough. Like, to me, it's not, they're not just accidents that are happening to you. And at some point, there has to be some sort of personal accountability for, I'm just trying to run to first base and I get hurt.
Yeah. Well, I tend to, I know you brought up the overtraining on a number of occasions, and I've seen it elsewhere. And I think you're right. I don't know what else you could, what's the word I'm looking for? Blame it on. It's like, I guess there could be other reasons. Like if it's, especially when it's these injuries, like you say, just running to the bases, these guys spend so much time trying to look like Charles Atlas. And it's like, you go back to the olden days, back in my day, I said when I was doing the boot hockey bit with my buddy, saying we should play boot again. We were going back and forth on a what's it called, a mass text,
group text,
group text thing. And I sent a picture of like goalies in the locker room beating down a heater between periods.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm not suggesting that if Royce Lewis started smoking in the clubhouse between innings that he wouldn't get injured. But these guys, I don't think worked out like they did. It just seemed you're a little bit more loose and limber, or not as you're not just this.
All the muscles and tendons are stretched.
Yes,
as thin as they possibly can now.
Yeah.
with the way these guys work out,
and it just doesn't seem to make any sense. And so now, you've heard me say, if you've heard me say this once, you've heard me say it 1,400 times. Just because something has happened in the past doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen in the future. But here's Royce Lewis. I'm expecting Buxton and Correa to both get injured within the first month of the season. I just am. And I don't want it to happen.
That's what history would tell you.
That's what history would tell you. So, we got other nice guys in the lineup. I mean, you need more than 3 bats. But when you're missing your 3. Historically, when they are playing up to their capabilities, they're the 3 best hitters on the team. They just are, and it's already starting. Now they got.
That's why when like a month ago, and you have local newspapers writing their hopium columns,
right?
Look how great this lineup can be. Yes, we've known that for 5 years now, but they're not. Your best players are never in the lineup.
Yes,
and it's not just an unlucky thing. There's a trend here of it happening multiple times with. I mean, before you signed Carlos Correa, this contract basically got canceled by 2 other teams because they didn't trust the health. Yeah. And we know the Senate. We know with Buxton, right? Has he gone over 100 games twice in his career?
Twice in his career, I think.
So we can't count on that.
No, and
it'd be great if it happened.
It would be sweet, and that's what. And again, it's not like I had discovered some special elixir for the Twins when saying they could contend for the title but it was all based upon a healthy if you miss a couple of games for you get hit by a pitch on your bicep and you're out for a game, right? Or injuries like that, or you sprain an ankle, you're out a week, you come back. Those are going to happen to guys. If you miss, if you can get a guy to play 140 games, it's pretty good. You're going to give guys days off. They do that as well. But you can't just be getting 40, 50 games out of your best players. I just don't think that's going to work. Now, they did establish their starting staff. It was the big 3 that we thought. We call them the big 3 in the business. It's Lopez, Ober, and Ryan. And now it looks like they're going to go with Simeon Woods, Richardson.
Yep.
And then who's the other
guy?
Paddock. Who... The Paddock guy has been. How long has he been with the club now? It seems like he's been with us like 10 years, but we don't get much.
I think it's only been like 2 years.
2 years, but we don't get much out of Murray. At least haven't to this point. Again, in some of those hopium articles. I mean, in every hopium article that we've read, and not in every one, but the ones that are talking about individual players.
I guess we've had him 3 years.
3 years,
but he's only played in a total of 24 games.
Yeah. And again, maybe now that's another injury-riddled player. Maybe this is the year where, and I don't remember if those were all Tommy John related or, just sometimes with pitching because you put so many, there's obviously, to me, there seems to be a greater opportunity to get hurt as a pitcher than it is as an everyday player, just because I know you're only going every 4 or 5 days, but, they're throwing as hard as they can nowadays, and all it takes is just one tweak the wrong way, and all of a sudden something goes at the elbow or the shoulder or something, and then you're in big trouble. But the staff seems to be okay. The bullpen on paper looks pretty good, and the everyday lineup wouldn't be bad. But people like to Lavelle has pointed out on a number of occasions. Last year, I think the Twins were like 10th in hitting, and they had. And they were missing some of their better players. So that's why you sell the hope. You start putting off. They did that. But then that goes back to the other thing you and I have talked about before is just because players played really well one year doesn't mean they're going to get better or stay the same. Sometimes guys take steps backward, but we'll see, or will we? How do I watch the Twins now?
Twins.tv, I believe.
Is it how much a year? Is it $20 a month or what is it?
It was like $100 for the year, wasn't it?
$100 for the year. Then I thought I also saw in a piece in the Fish Wrap Factory West Side that said they think by opening day you'll also be able to pay for it on, like I have DirecTV. DirecTV will have the Twins stream on that. So there are, and matter of fact, Comcast, wherever you get your television right now, they're hoping to be able to be on those platforms. So
yeah,
I hope so.
$99.99 for a full season or $19.99 per month at twins.tv.
Yeah. And did you see that same story I did? I saw a story that said they figure will be available on other platforms, including like DirecTV. So I'll watch me a little Twins.
That'd be great.
I'll be watching myself a little Twins if it gets to that point. But that's not good news with Royce Lewis expected to begin the season on the injured list.
I will have a decision to make come April if it's not available. Right now I'm doing Xfinity. If it's not available on Xfinity, do I buy the package or not? Guess I got to.
Yeah.
Just because I work here.
Can write it off, right?
I don't think you really can write it off.
I think you can.
I think we used to be able to, but my tax guy in the last couple of years.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people say you can't write it off. We're going to change that. We're going to give you a tax break on it. Why wouldn't you be able to? It's work related.
I'm just going with tax guy.
No, I'm
says.
just saying.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I don't know.
I'm just asking out loud. It's a rhetorical question. Why wouldn't a person be able to write that off?
Why wouldn't our work pay for it? That's what I would ask.
Hold on. Do we have a laughter track here? I mean, because if it wasn't for work, I certainly would you watch a Twins game if it wasn't work related? I don't think I would. Unless it got, the old, me, I'm a bandwagon fan. If all of a sudden we're late in the year and it looks like we got a parade route possibility, well, then I'm all on board, but I'm not going to spend.
There's a lot of like Saturdays and Sundays when they're playing in the afternoon and there's not much else going on the television and you're folding some laundry and it's kind of nice background.
I'm usually out playing golf on Saturday, Sunday afternoons. Would you like to join me?
I would love to be able to do that.
Maybe you should join me.
I have lots of laundry to fold.
Yeah, well, that's true. Wow, I love when Common talks Twins baseball. You can hear the passion. I have passion for the Twins. There is. Someone else thinks we should do a golf segment every Monday. They loved our golf talk, the way we broke it down. It was almost like we were PGA Tour caddies, the way we broke it down. We can do that.
What are we, about 3-4 weeks from the Masters?
Yeah. Oh, how exciting is that? What if we should... No, it's too much work. I was going to do that. We used to do a Masters pool, and then whoever won it would win a round of golf, join you and I. Give me an old boy.
Oh boy!
Well, it's a free round. I mean, we'll pay for your round, but then somebody has to do all the looking through. Yeah, you don't want to do that, do you?
It might not be worth the effort.
Yeah, it's just not worth the effort. That's what it is. Let's take a break and come back. 5:34, top of the hour. What you got, Tanner?
Speaking of effort, the Wolves are having lots of effort because they're streaking.